Hey guys, and welcome back to Become a God. It looks like we're going back to blue as the follow-up episode from last time. We looked at Zaldin Fox's blue control, and this time we're going to take a look at TofuWarrior's chaos control. The TofuWarriors sent me this list to take a look at. I was actually at the time I was climbing to God rank with my red yellow mid range, so I didn't really have time to have a look at it. But I've been playing it a little bit recently. It's actually really cool. It's quite nice as a follow-up deck for me because I've been playing a different style of blue control. So I feel that the fundamentals of the deck through the archetype kind of the same, so the transition hasn't been too difficult for me. What I really like about this deck, it has a very cool win condition. It has the Emperor Chaos comboed with the Imperial Engineer. So the idea is you get an Emperor Chaos down, you use Aurora's Creation on it to create a copy, you drop another Emperor's Chaos, and then you play an Imperial Engineer, and this will trigger the production ability twice, reducing the attack of all your enemy's creatures by 2. It might kill them depending on if their attack is 0 after the trigger goes off, and then all these creatures are really low on attack value, and this allows you to follow up with stuff like Aurora's Trick, or it allows you to clear them out on follow-up turns if Emperor Chaos cannot be dealt with. Now, it might be difficult sometimes to pull off the Emperor Chaos combo simply because of all the removal. A good example would be the blue-red Gemshell deck. That's not really a viable strategy because they can combo Firestorms and stuff off to do massive area of effect removal. So another win condition in this deck is actually Radiance. Just playing that big 10-10, getting a heal, and then poking away at your opponent to finish them off. It takes 2 hits from Radiance generally to kill your opponent unless they have healing. So Radiance is a good backup win condition, which I have used myself while practicing this deck against a deck like Blue-Red Gemshell. I knew that Chaos wouldn't be enough, so I relied on Radiance to win that game for me. So all this deck wants to do is set up in the early game, control the wells, get towards that 5 land count, then drop the Forbidden Library, start accelerating that Faeria, that hand advantage. You can use Curious Biomancer to draw those neutral creatures out of your deck if you need pieces for the combo. You drop the combo, or you use Radiance to win the game, and that's it. Bob's your uncle. You have a victory with the blue Chaos control. And I'm going to take this for a spin on the ladder, guys, to see how this performs in our current metagame. I'm very excited to play this with you guys. I've already played it quite a bit, and I've really enjoyed it. So let's just get into the matches. Alright, guys, into our first match. We're going to throw all of these cards away. Now, I was looking at TofuWarrior's deck list on the hub, and he says you want to get the jump creatures first. You want to establish board control using the Triton Warriors and the Water Elementals. And then you want to try and line up a Curious Biomancer to draw those neutral cards like the Imperial Engineers and the Chaos. And this actually works out perfect for us. And I did actually ask him, I was saying, do you like to go down one side? And he said he prefers to build from the wells like a control deck. Sometimes you can go down one side if you're playing against another control deck and you know your creatures, the more mobile versions like the jump creatures like Triton Warriors can take control of the board easy, then you can go down one side, which is what I did against the Blue-Red Gemshell. But ideally you just want to stay on your own wells and start building up these lakes and getting towards that Forbidden Library. And you gotta remember as well, Radiance does have dash, so it can dash into an aggressive position if it needs to. So it could come from this region and just dash straight up here to start hitting on the next turn. So there's some good options when it comes to mobility, when it comes to the 1-win condition. But you're probably just going to win by having Chaos on board and your opponent not being able to do anything about it. That seems to be the best way to win with this deck. Just completely oppress them with Chaos. Now my opponent's decided to come down this way, which is fine because that actually leaves me a bit of flexibility of where I develop my lands here. I could go down the left side now with the Water Elemental and use this as a good jump path for my jump creatures. So get Lake here. I could then double neutral if I don't pick up, say, the Forbidden Library or Fagoro. And yeah, I can then use this kind of line here of lands to jump between the wells and double collect on the left hand side away from all this conflict. But my opponent might split. We'll have to see what my opponent gets up to first. And This looks like a regular burn. Didn't actually collect Faeria, so very, very cautious of Aurora in this situation. I have 3 lakes down. Doesn't want me to just double neutral up, play Aurora, clear the Brute, and just make things generally miserable for my opponent. So yeah, we'll just jump up here. Yeah, we'll just relax, we'll just wait. We're probably going to get hit in the orb right now. I have a feeling that... Oh, no, maybe not. I had a feeling we might see Kaleem's training come down, and then maybe a Fanatic to move this. But it looks like it's going to be Flame Burst, Cypher's Wrath. So instead of just taking an easy Flame Burst kill on my Water Elemental, my opponent's decided to actually invest the double removal into the Warrior to protect the Brute. And to be fair, I can respect that. That's pretty... It's a pretty reliable way of keeping this Brute alive, and we're actually, like I said, we're just going to go for that double neutral, and we're just going to start double collecting on this side, and kind of hoping this little Water Elemental will live to double collect once more. So yeah, I'm going to zip around with the Brute, goes for a mountain, so this actually indicates to me that there's a Horse Master here, or this is going to be a Scourge Flame Spectre spot. Now... Aurora's trick is pretty amazing for this situation, actually. I just need to kind of decide what I want to do. I think I'm going to play the Biomancer, because we can draw 2 cards off the Biomancer, which is pretty good, I think. So yeah, let's take Biomancer first, and let's see what we draw. So we do draw Chaos, and we also draw an Engineer. That's pretty good. Let's take a Lake. Take a lake here. We'll go for the collection. Then we're just going to Frogify this. Yeah. So we're actually set up for the Chaos combo next turn. And we're Frogifying this preemptively. It can hit my Biomancer. It can jump onto the land here. It can jump back and collect. There's a lot of options for the Frog. But it's more so that we don't take like 6 damage to face. Oh. He's going in. That is pretty painful, but we do have Radiance sitting in the bank for us already. Now, is the Chaos combo enough at this point? I can trigger 2 reductions, which essentially just removes the 2 damage dealt from the combat ability. So I'll still take 6 damage. What's my alternative, I guess? I guess I could draw for a Frogify. If I draw for a Frogify, what else am I doing this turn? That's the question. I mean, I could play a Radiance, an aggressive Radiance, and try and race and go for, like, Creation into Radiance. I think that's pretty good, actually. So yeah, let's draw for a Frogify. Didn't happen. Let's go for a Radiance. Here. We can collect. Could even go for the library, and I think the library's okay here. It might seem a little risky, but the library's going to give me 2 Faeria. It's going to give me an extra draw, and then I can Creation the Radiance and replay Radiance. So I don't mind being too low in this situation, because I want to be able to get the most out of my... Well, basically reduce the cost of my Radiance as much as possible. If I am able to double collect, I'll be in a decent situation as well. I'll just have a lot of Faeria to work with. My opponent might just have lethal. It is possible. This is going to be 8 damage, 10, so I'm going to have 6 life left, so my opponent just needs, like, Gift of Steel Flame Burst. So maybe the library was a little too dangerous, because I do play into the Gift of Steel Flame Burst. But it does, without that, if this does take an orb hit and I don't lose, my Radiance is going to be cheap as chips, and that's going to be pretty good for me. The cheaper the Radiance, the better. And this is the thing with a deck. You need to kind of decide what your win condition is. Is your win condition Radiance, or is it your win condition Chaos? The kind of really massive play from my opponent here kind of indicated to me that Radiance is going to be my win condition. Yeah, library was way too risky here. Fortunately, I didn't get punished. It's pretty good. I do need a Frogify, because Radiance won't be enough. Because I can creation this. This can cost 3, which leaves me with, yeah, 2 Faeria left over after. Maybe I should have played the Radiance defensively. Let's take a draw. Imperial Engineer. Yeah, I don't think I can win. I do have the Emperor's Command though. So this is 11 plus the 2 damage from here. So it needs 1 damage. Am I going to die to library actually? So yeah, setting up the library was probably a big mistake here, but we'll just play it out. We'll see if my opponent has it. So yeah, the library a bit too dangerous there. Like I said, I'm kind of learning the deck as well as I go. I played a couple of games with it, but what could I have done different? Oh, there's a Scourge Flame. There's no way I'm winning this one. So a bit too much burn damage for me to answer. You know, the double Kaleem's training, the double Gift of Steel. Yeah, the library probably didn't make too much of a difference. I guess, like, alternatively, what I could have done is played the Radiance defensively instead. And then I could have at least cleared the Grimguard before I went for... Oh, I could have went for another heal and then cleared the Grimguard. But that looked like a pretty difficult match to deal with what my opponent drew. I had the 1 Frogify, which I did the preemptive Frogify on the Brute, and it's lucky I did that, because imagine how much damage I would have taken if I hadn't. Wow, that would have been pretty scary. So yeah, that is going to be game 1. A little unfortunate I lost there. Seems to be a running theme at the moment, me losing game 1. But let's get into the next game, and hopefully I'll do a little bit better. Alright guys, another match. Let's see how this one plays out instead. I have Battletoads, I'm pretty happy with that. Frogify I'm going to keep. I think it's just a good keep when you find an early creature in your opening hand like this. The Imperial Engineer is a bit meh, but because we want to keep this for the combo ideally, so we don't want to play this as a creature. So yeah. And it's going to be Rush. So I like that we have the Frogify ready, just in case we need it. Now, there might have actually been a reason to play this instead, because we're probably not going to get the combo off. And just start collecting Faeria. 2 free bodies pretty good as well. Demands a Wind Soldier if it needs to be cleared. And this is going to be yellow. It's going to be a desert instead of the double neutral. Very interesting. We can actually, just another thing to consider as well, trigger all your production abilities. This includes Forbidden Library as well, so you can actually play Forbidden Library into Imperial Engineer to get that additional 2 Faeria and draw cards. So essentially, if you have a library down and you play the Imperial Engineer, you're basically paying 1 Faeria for a 2 free and drawing a card. Pretty strong actually, if you can get it set up. So I can collect here. I'm hoping there's not like double Soul Drain. Double Soul Drain would be pretty sad actually. Go for the Demon. Maybe just Demon Pass. Possibly. Yep, just Demon Pass here. Then we can collect. Lake, collect. Go for the Water Elemental. Let's put in the middle there. Maybe we just Frogify this now and just get out of the way. I have 3 Frogifies. I mean, I guess I have to think about Zealous Crusaders. No, I'm planning to play these two next turn, so I think I'm just gonna Frogify and get rid of it. I could have actually cleared there, but I don't see the point. I might as well collect Faeria and let my opponent clear my Battletoad if that's what he wants to get up to. I like clear on the right side. Just jump here, clear this guy out. Or could double neutral even as well. Jump over here, clear. Go for the hit instead. That's interesting. I'm guessing it's going to be a prayer. Okay. Maybe a Demon Wrangler. Maybe a Demon Wrangler to sacrifice the frog. Wind Soldier gonna answer... I guess is gonna kill the Water Elemental. Might just go face here. No, gonna kill the Water Elemental. That's reasonable. You know, the frogs now trade at least with the other Battletoad. Oh, Templar. I've seen this featuring in Rush quite a lot recently. That's a bit of a problem. 6 damage is a lot. That is for sure. Takes another desert. I'm gonna cycle the Flash Salmon. Okay. So I do double collect, at least. that's a one good thing that's happening with this turn. So yeah, we'll go for the Imperial Engineer line. We'll do it this side. But I'm gonna stick the Engineer here or here. I haven't decided yet, but I want the library to be difficult to get to. No, my opponent has to build a land if they want to clear the library. So we can do that. I guess we could... That's so much damage. And we're going to take a tick off the library. I mean, do we just clear the frog and kind of hope here? I don't know. Like, the library's pretty good. Maybe we clear out... Yeah, I guess we have to clear the frog. Let's kill the frog and play a new new creature here. So we're going to get the trigger. Emperor's Command. That's not too bad. Because now we can do this. Oh, that's really good. That worked out excellent for us, guys. We got to clear 2 creatures. We got a tick on the library. We don't take a lot of damage next turn. We're going to take 11 damage or something ridiculous like that. So that's pretty good. And now we're saying to my opponent, do you want to clear this library? And you know that's going to cost an investment, like a land being developed, maybe a haste creature. But my opponent decides to go for the face. Just goes to my orb. Takes the orb hit. I'm gonna go for an air elemental, get a land here, I guess, for the Wind Soldiers. Quite nice. I was considering making a land here to stop that Wind Soldier path, but it seemed like a bit too much trouble to me. I'm still in a lot of trouble. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not in a great position, if I'm totally honest. Okay. Let's collect. Play Fugoro. Let's get that in. Fantastic. Alright, we're still in this game, guys. This is a little scary. I don't want too many libraries. And not without Radiance, at least. If I had Radiance, I would be less scared. But as things stand, you know, don't want to get down another library. I'm a little... I guess I could have actually libraried in order to stop the 2 damage, because I was going to take 2 damage anyway from a haste creature. But my problem was, like, if I do set up the library and I don't draw a heal in, I'm just dead to my own libraries. Okay. Still in a pretty dangerous position. Let's take a draw. Okay, so that's not too bad now. We can just heal and then play Battletoads or something like that. Or maybe I just Creation Fugoro, clear this, and then play Fugoro, and then earn again. That seems pretty good to me. Creation Fugoro, earn, and then I'll be able to heal. So yeah, we'll do that. This just lets us cycle. We're trying to dig deep. We want to find... I could even collect now. I do leave myself open to a Wind Soldier, but I don't think that's an issue. So we're stabilizing a little bit. Things are looking better, but we do need to find that Radiance. That is the most important card we can draw right now. +1. Interesting. Another command feels good, guys. We can continue to heal, continue to draw. Okay. Let's get healing. I wonder if there's a Doomsday. I'm going to play Battletoads as my defenders here because it's kind of a low investment. I don't want to throw away like a big Triton warrior that doesn't die to soul drain, basically. You know, this use double soul drain or double removal to clear. If there was a Doomsday, at least I just lose the Battletoads and I can rebuild. Oh, excellent. Okay, right. We are in business, guys. We just have to decide. Do you know what? I'm not going to play around Doomsday. I don't think Doomsday's here. But we are in business. We're going to overdraw as well, so I think I will play another creature. Yeah, let's play a Biomancer. Yeah, let's keep it tight. we just have an army of frogs. So that was just so we don't overdraw. Aurora's Trick could be pretty good here if a Fanatic was to come down. I can use that then as a way to clear. Soul Pact. Soul Pact? Okay. What's going on here? What's that Soul Pact all about? Death Wish... Ghoul... Doomsday? Crystal Flower, okay. Zealous Crusader. Zealous Crusader? Double Crusader would be pretty strong. Soul Drain to 1 frog. So another Frogify is pretty good here. Worst case scenario is I just use the Aurora plus the Curious Biomancer to clear this, which is fine, I think. We can still play Aurora in a decent position to just block. Actually, don't mind just cracking this open early. I am going to overdraw. I don't think I can really stop that. So we get Radiance back next turn, which is pretty good because it just means we have a 10-10 to defend with. It's much better in aggressive position in this match, but actually the positioning of the Crystal Flower is not that bad. Like I said, having a 10-10 as a defender is pretty good when there's, I know there's a minimum of 7/7 Zealous Crusaders showing up. So yeah, I feel like I feel pretty comfortable going forward. If another monk comes down, I just trick it and then set up defensively again. Prayer. Might see Flash Salmon Cycle here. Demon Wrangler, okay. Alright, library's getting a little dangerous here. But I can Creation Radiance. That's pretty good. I think my plan this turn is just to solidify. Yeah, just solidify my defenses. So we can jump here, clear this, move across. We also need to start applying pressure, I believe. So let's at least get a warrior down. You know what, we can get another warrior down as well. I should have played a warrior here, actually, I think. Maybe we can just get Chaos down. I don't want to overdraw. Oh, just going to pass there. So, managed to somehow grind that one out. That was a good game. I enjoyed that one. It was tough once the Radiance came down. Because once the Radiance came down, I healed so much, and then I had like the double Emperor's command back to back to continue healing. This library just gave me so many resources, so many options going forward. So yeah, great game there. Nice to see this deck being able to beat Yellow Rush. And yeah, let's get on to our next match. Alright guys, another game. Things were looking pretty good for us last match. Let's hopefully we can get the same performance this one. Triton Warrior we're going to keep. Frogify we're going to keep as well. Emperor's Command. I think we throw this one. Let's get rid of this. That's a pretty fantastic hand if Triton Warrior is able to live. So as long as we're not playing against like red, well, so too soon. As long as we're not playing against red, we should be okay. But look at that, it's red. So let's just drop a lake down and see what happens. Our opponent's probably going to come down this side, which I'm absolutely fine with. No, it's another rush deck. Feels rush, guys. Okay. Do we have a really good answer to this? Let's take the lake and go for the Triton Warrior. And the Explore will help us connect our lands without having to use double neutral. Which we can't if we want to Frogify or Aurora because these cost 3 lakes. So if this was the same move to this tile here to dodge potential Aurora plays, we could use Explore, Lake, get to this tile here, and then kill the Queen's Guard, which would be over here. What's really nice about this is the Battletoads pickup, because now we have the choice. We can either Frogify this and clear it, or we can Aurora it. Both of them play into Firestorm quite heavily. The one that doesn't play as far into Firestorm is the Frogify play because I don't put 4 creatures down. Red Rush generally doesn't run Firestorm, so I can play under the assumption that this deck doesn't have that card. But what other pitfalls could we run into? A Ground Shaker cleans up Aurora, but let's just Ground Shake a few, right? Maybe maybe I do go for Frogify here. I think Frogify is just a little more attractive because I can then use Aurora on a frog instead. Yeah, okay. I've decided. We'll go for the Frogify play instead. Because we starve our opponent of Faeria as well, which is pretty important. Because if we went for the Aurora line, we do give our opponent an additional Faeria to work with. This way, our opponent doesn't gain any additional Faeria. And, you know, the biggest creature generally is Ground Shaker. Grimguard, again, quite an easy one to answer here. Gonna Cypher's Wrath that guy out of the way. That's fine. I guess we could use the Battletoad here if we wanted. Could even just Emperor's Command and clear this nice and clean. Is the healing going to be relevant? That is the question. Maybe it will be, and perhaps we need to double neutral to get rid of that Axe Grinder spot. So let's go for the Emperor's Command play. We can actually just jump on this mountain and clear And we'll go double neutral to stop the axe grinder spot. And now we've locked our opponent into these 3 lands. We're not going to take this ourselves. We're going to force our opponent to take it when they need them, or take it when we need to make a good defensive play in this spot. So we're going to leave this open for now. And the TofuWarrior's in a pretty good position. Has a lot of coverage. It can kill, say, an Imperial Drain if I need to. It can clear anything that shows up here. It could also jump onto this tile and start collecting on this spot, and I can go like lake into a double collection position. So I feel like positionally I'm in a pretty good spot. We're just gonna see Flame Burst come down. Oh my goodness. Take a mountain into Imperial Drain? No, no Imperial Drain. Okay. I might just Aurora. I'm thinking about just Aurora here, because the one thing Aurora would do for me is put this as a 6/6, and that's going to be a hard creature to remove, because right now this just gets eaten by Cypher's Wrath, and if I lose this frog, I don't feel like I'm in a very good position. I can also stick Aurora in the double collection. I could lake up here, and then Aurora. So now my Aurora is double collecting, which is in a really good spot. I can still access pretty much everything from this position, so I can take the collection on the left-hand side, going into the next turn, and then I also have access to these mountains with this Frog's Jump ability. And then, if Aurora does live, I can also Creation Aurora and then use Aurora on Aurora if I wanted to, if I decide to move Aurora into a more defensive position here. Or I could just Creation it preemptively to have access to that Aurora in the later parts of the match, where I can turn one of those creatures into a threat. My opponent is just going to concede here, just going to wrap it up. Doesn't feel like can win from this position. And this deck's done fantastic against Rush. We've beaten Yellow Rush and we've beaten Red Rush so far during this match and this video. So looking pretty good so far. Let's get into our next game. Alright guys, into another match. We are battering Rush at the moment. Let's see if we can beat some other archetypes. I hope we get to play against other archetypes. We kept the Battletoads there, just from the other two, trying to find some utility, like I did in the previous game where I had, say, Aurora, and I had the Frogify just as a way to leverage my position on board, just in case things get a little hairy. Speaking of hairy, this is a very hairy, or furry, you could say, Axe Grinder, starting things off for my opponent. Let's go for the Battletoads. Now, I don't mind too much if one of these gets ciphered, because I'm going to want to develop a lake anyway. So let's say a Cypher's Wrath was to come down. It's not too bad. We can get away with it. So yeah, we'll just lake, collect. I would like to Battletoads again, but don't have that luxury, unfortunately, so let's just pass here. Right, so things are looking a little bit difficult for us. We are behind on Faeria. Our opponent has a strong board advantage here. Frogify, oh wow, okay, so Frogify is pretty good. And I think we might just have to take it. Otherwise, this is just going to get too much value in the long run, so let's play into Firestorm right now. That's the thing. We'll do it this way. We'll have two frogs on this side to defend. This could be one of the harder matchups, I think, just because Red has the option to double neutral a lot, meaning that they can push into these aggressive positions quite easily. A double Brigand, oh wow, that's so good. That's such a good response from my opponent. We have to give so much value. I do not like this at all. I guess we just clear this one out. We could go for a lake here. This allows me to play a library. So yeah, let's just clear one. It's something we can't avoid, to be honest. I feel like it's kind of inevitable that's going to happen. We'll go for a library, I guess. And then pass. And then we can use Fagoro potentially to finish off this Brigand. I think there is a benefit of developing Battletoads here to block the Brigand from moving into this position, but I feel like my plan going forward is just to play Fagoro in front of it and just kind of cross my fingers and hope there isn't a Gift of Steel. Gonna Flame Burst the library. I respect that. Just making sure I don't get a huge Faeria advantage. It's pretty cool. Nice play, my friend. Let's go for this Fagoro as a blocker here. Earn up. Aurora's Trick. Feels good. That was a really good play where you managed to steal a Brigand. Now, stealing Grimguard is also very good, but the beauty of Brigand is I'm going to get a Faeria refund, and we've just seen a Flame Burst come out on the Forbidden Library there. Now, my opponent may think I'm Dream Reaver and might not suspect that I'm playing a Chaos deck. We'll see what my opponent decides to do. I'm just going to pass here, move into double collection. Alright, we have more pieces of the combo, which is kind of sad because it makes our Biomancers a little worse. I'd rather draw Biomancers over these neutral creatures, but you can't have it all, unfortunately. So I feel like we can just take a draw here. That's pretty good, I'll take that. And we'll go for the Triton Warrior on this side, and this can set up double collection in the future. We can double neutral up this side, and we can start collecting. Our opponent sitting on 16 Faeria. We could see massive combo removal come off here in the form of Garadan. Firestorm does run Firebomb, oh my goodness. I like Firebomb, it's a card I do like in red, to be honest. It's just finding space for it's usually quite difficult. I'm going to collect with the Axe Grinder. Maybe try and lock us in with a taunt. No, I'm just gonna go for an El Cap 10. Yeah, I can jump over, clear Frogify, and clear this. So I'm in a reasonable position. If I had another trick, I'd love to use Command and steal this. Start putting Gift of Steel into my deck. But yeah, I don't feel that's gonna happen just yet. We don't need to develop any additional lands now because we don't have that double collector, so we can take a draw. We pick up another Empress Command. Okay. So I do have a combo here. I have like Chaos, Imperial Drain, double command as kind of a bit of a combo if I need it. Oh, I'm playing the Ground Shaker so much. But if I'm going to get a refund at least. So I can go into Battletoads, which is not bad. I guess this plays more into Garadan and Firestorm. Garadan's pretty brutal, to be honest. But I feel like I should just take the line anyway, because if my opponent doesn't have Garadan or Firestorm, I'm still in a pretty decent position. Now, double Ground Shaker is just murder. Yeah, double Ground Shaker. Pretty bad. Because now we have no Faeria to work with. So next turn, I go up to 7 Faeria. Okay, we're just going to do this. Because I want to play Chaos here. I think Chaos is going to be interesting. Because if Chaos lives, I might do okay. If Chaos dies, I might lose. It depends. It depends what it depends how good my Radiance is going to be. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I die to a Gift of Steel. I die to a Flame Burst. Die to a lot of things. So let's go for a Chaos, and then we'll go for an Emperor's Command, I think. We could +1 into Engineer, actually. +1 Engineer is not bad. Because I can put Engineer here to block, and I do reduce the attack of everything. So I do a bit of damage control, and then if my opponent doesn't have an answer to this Chaos, I should be in a good position. If this does get removed, I'm relying on Radiance to win the game for me, which is going to be pretty difficult. I have a lot of sustain, but you know, this is a big part of the deck, and you know, red can unfortunately answer this quite easily with the right cards. So just cross my fingers and hope it doesn't happen. Is this going to be Gift of Steel? Yeah, okay. Oh! Doesn't die, though. I get another... Oh, it does die. Sad times. It puts my Radiance down quite low. I guess that's something. I think I draw because I increase the life gain from Radiance, and I move, and then I just heal. Maybe I had to go for a more aggressive line. I don't know. I think I can keep. I think I can stay in the match for a little while. I do have Emperor's commands. I do have Trick as well, so I can steal maybe a Brigand, maybe a Grimguard. My opponent is quad collecting, so I think I'm being a little optimistic. Bomb Slinger. Hit my face. Interesting. Moving aggressively. So creation would be nice, but not necessarily a way I can deal with this. Do I take a risk? Do I take a risk where I collect off the left-hand side, I then frogify the Grimguard, I then clear the Ground Shaker, and then hope there isn't a Cypher's Wrath? I feel like risks are the only way I'm going to actually win this game, or at least stabilize. So yeah, we're going to take... This is a risky line. But yeah, like I said, we're in a kind of a risky position anyway, so we're just kind of rolling the dice and hoping my opponent doesn't have Cypher's Wrath. And my opponent has Cypher's Wrath. So I haven't seen a grappling hook in the mono red here, was very interesting. My opponent just had a handful of burn. It does happen. So we're 2-2, so mid-range red was a little bit more difficult, but we didn't have very good reaction cards. Like, we didn't have the tricks when the Brigand showed up. We had to put, you know, that one Brigand managed to refund 4 Faeria, so it became, it actually gained a Faeria from playing that, and I lost 2 creatures. So it was a bit of a difficult match to deal with, and having the grappling hook into the Cypher's Wrath, and then having the other Cypher's Wrath on the follow-up as well. So everything lined up pretty perfectly for my opponent there. Let's get into our final match, and hopefully we can finish off this episode with a win. Alright guys, into our last game against Satyrus. I did play another game, but it was such a blowout, it wasn't even worth showing. So I decided, you know, let's see if I can make this game a little bit more interesting. And we'll see what the outcome is. Hopefully it's not Red Combat, which is the deck that took care of me in my previous game, which I haven't shown. It was just a little... It's just like Brigands were just eating frogs, and it was a pretty bleak scenario for me. So I thought we could get another match and see if we can find one that's a little bit more interesting. Looks like Satyrus is playing green. So we haven't played against green yet. Could be mono green, could be Crackthorn. It's going to be double neutral Sagami Warrior. Okay. So zipping across here very early. It's fair enough. I'll take collection, I'll take a lake, and then we'll pass. So we do have an answer to this in the form of the Emperor's Command, as long as this doesn't get powered up. But then Satyrus might play around the fact that we could have Frogify, and decide actually it's not worth powering up. Could be very dangerous. But we also have Aurora's Trick, which could be fantastic for wood elementals. So if any wood elementals or willows come down, we have a really good steal there. And buff itself. Okay. That's fair. Take a lake. Yeah, let's get out of dodge. So now we could see a Horse Master play. As long as there's not another power up, I think we're alright. Just going to be another caretaker, so continuing to power this up into an ancient boar, and just gonna slam these creatures down. Very very scary looking board, to be honest. What do I want to do? I can steal this with Emperor's Command. That's pretty good. So what I could do here is I could lake. I'll Emperor's Command this. I'll trick it. Then I'll Frogify this. And I'll clear it. So an early Frogify coming down. No, I'd rather save that for the bigger creatures like Verdant Force, but I want to have the luxury of playing for Goro next turn on this spot. And I need to create as much breathing room as possible. And I think the one thing I like about this line is I keep my 2 creatures alive, leaving only one in a position that can attack, which means I should be able to collect off my own well. And if I pick up another Frogify now, I'm going to be in a fantastic position. Or if I pick up Aurora, like Aurora would be amazing. I could just power this up and finish off. Actually, going to go for a full clear. I like this. So Satyrus just saying, you know what? Let's just clear the side of the board and make sure there's no Faeria harvesting going on. Yep, takes a hit here. Yep, I'm probably just going to pass. Okay. So we did find the other Frogify after, which is pretty good. So I can go for Fagoro. Get this urn. And put Fagoro in a double collection position. Oh, the library. Fantastic. And now we can't get Horse Mastered, which is amazing, because the only way that my library should get cleared now is through Emperor's Command, which we've just seen, or we see a power up on the Tiki Caretaker into a teleport from the Sagami Grove Caller. So the fact that we get to use this library is really good. Now we can actually get another trigger off the library with the Engineer. I quite like that. That's not bad. We can Frogify this and clear it. But let's take a draw first, just in case we pick up Aurora. Pick up another library. Okay. Maybe we Frogify this and just play a library this side. And then go for Battletoads. Yeah, I kind of like that. The Battletoads is pretty good because it allows me to clear the Ancient Boar on the follow-up. But then again, we don't have enough Faeria. Okay, so I guess we just protect the libraries instead. I think that's a little better. So let's just go for another library. So going all in on the library plan here, just trying to outvalue our opponent in Faeria and card advantage. Our opponent's doing pretty good here as far as card advantage goes. You know, got a decent... Sorry, Faeria advantage goes, got a decent Faeria size. Oh, messed up there. Well, sort of. Not really. Oh yeah, I guess so, because you could have dashed in this position instead. Oh, there's the Aurora. A little too late, unfortunately. Take a draw. Emperor's Command. Okay, so let's go for Triton Warrior. Or maybe not Triton Warrior. Actually, let's go for Water Elemental Battletoads. Yeah, I think Water Elemental Battletoads. So we're going to see a full clear on the libraries, I can imagine. I wish I kind of had Ninja Toad in this deck. I wish we could find a space for it. Ninja Toad might be really good. The Emperor's Command this, it can't actually kill a library. And then we could go for Water Elemental. I think we just accept that the libraries are going to die. I can do it this way. I guess I can challenge the Tiki, but if the Tiki gets a power up, I lose a frog. Yeah, so let's do it this way. So with the 5-3, like I said, I'm assuming they're just going to kill the libraries here. But they've given me value. As long as the libraries tick once, I'm in a pretty good spot. Because it's one Faeria and it cycles, so it's like basically +1 Faeria and a card draw if you get a tick of a library. Could take Emperor's Command here and then get a value clear on my 2/2. Spirit of Rebirth, interesting. Deepwood Stalker. Okay. So I'm considering Aurora for this turn. So jump here, clear the 1/1, jump here, lake. Or lake here. I don't really mind where the lake goes. Just in between the wells. Aurora, let's clear the pig which means that there's no Faeria collection for my opponent on the follow-up. I still have Emperor's Command as a way to heal if I need to, and if Aurora lives, I get to creation it on the follow-up after it's double collected. So let's stick it here. If the land comes, I don't think it makes any difference really which way I do it. Actually, no, this is a better one from Horsemaster. So yeah, let's take it here. We'll Aurora this frog, jump over, clear this, jump over, clear this. Okay, so we got potential double collection on the right hand side now. We have the Aurora's creation as a great option for dealing with one of the threats. We could just see a full board clear. We could just see like hit, Verdant Force. That'd be a pretty strong play for my opponent, I think. Because it just basically puts a big threat down, which I don't have an immediate answer to. But I do have Battletoads on the follow-up, which is pretty strong as long as there's not another Deepwood Stalker. So, yeah, it could go either way. We'll see what Satyrus decides to do. He might decide, just hit me for 5 and play like a Verdant Force. Go for the Emperor's Command here. I like it. Respecting Aurora's creation. Very smart. Hits me. Plays a deep... Oh. That's... Well, it means I can't Emperor's Command it. That's a little sad, actually, but... It happens. So what's my follow-up now? If I play Triton Warrior and this gets powered up and he clears it, I probably just lose the game on the spot. If he gets a power... Actually, if he just has a power-up, I lose the game on the spot anyway, so... What's the play? Battletoads is pretty good. Battletoads is better than the Warrior in respects of I get the 2 creatures to stick, but it is vulnerable to the Deepwood Stalker. So I think it's going to be Battletoads. Yeah, we're going to go for Battletoads. And then we +1 into heal. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Triple power-up required to finish me off after that heal. So I should stabilize, but the main problem I have is just keeping something around to collect Faeria for me while I manage the board. Like, this can just move +1 Verdant Force. That would be a big problem. Goes for the draw, so no Verdant Force at least. Might see a power-up come down, like a Tiki Caretaker. Oh wow, okay. So that's lethal now. That's a problem. Take a draw. Ah, if only I could trick this, it'd be very good. I can Frogify clear? If I frog, I don't win the game with a Frogify clear. I never get back unless he puts me down to 1 and then I draw Radiant. So, yeah, that's probably the only thing that can happen here that can save me. And even then, it's more or less delayed and inevitable. So yeah, hits, puts me down to 1. I draw. I get Radiance. I get to play Radiance for 1. And then, I don't know, like, what's the follow-up? Assuming I even draw Radiance. Draw. I drew it! It happened! Somehow. 5. So that's 10 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I heal 8. So even if I could have Radianced and played it here and dash here, I would still die. Because everything can kind of shimmy around me. So yeah, it's a little unfortunate there. Not going to be enough there. And well played, and that is going to wrap up this game. So this was a very unconventional green deck. Has a lot of weenies, have a lot of small creatures, and was able to kind of flood. Maybe if it was a more conventional style of green, I might be able to handle it a little bit better, because I'd be able to like just see like big Faeria investments in stuff like Verdant Force and Grove Guardians, Firing Golems, and then I can just like take them out with the Frogify and, you know, just clear it with one Battletoad and still have a Battletoad left over. And that's where kind of blue excels at beating green. You know, they make these big investments of Faeria into these big creatures, and then that investment is destroyed through a Frogify, a transform effect. But well played to Saturus. It's nice to see a spicy green flood deck, I want to call it. But yeah, good game. That wraps up this episode of Become a God. Taking a look at TofuWarrior's Chaos Control. I had a lot of fun playing this deck. It's a bit difficult against some matchups. Red Combat felt incredibly difficult because of Brigands, and if I didn't have the tricks to trick them, they got a lot of value off my Battletoads. But we did very well against Rush, so maybe this is a good choice against Rush decks if the part of the ladder you're playing at has a lot of Rush decks running around. This could be a good choice to combat them. And it's also quite a fun deck as well, because it has an unconventional win condition and can feel quite rewarding when you manage to pull off that big Chaos combo. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, drop a subscribe to keep up to date of when our content goes live. Been quite a blue week so far. We had blue control in the previous episode, and now we've had another version of blue control using the Chaos as the win condition. Who knows what will show up in our next episode? Perhaps another blue deck. Maybe this will be the mono blue week of Become a God. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy TofuWarrior's Blue Chaos Control.